What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Johnny Finesse. Welcome back to the channel, and today we about to watch This Is Not a Tesla. By the thumbnail, it was an Audi, so we know it's not a Tesla, obviously, but it looks like a Tesla. That's why they put the title that this is not a Tesla. But if you're new to the channel and you're returning to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're almost halfway there to becoming a YouTube supporter. 500 subscribers, y'all. I need y'all support. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss a thing again. So I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. So please hit that subscribe button. You feel me? Also, I finally got it, y'all. Like, I finally got one of these. You know what I'm saying? Finally got one of them. Yeah. And it's crazy too, cause I dead walked in the store to get like a webcam, a better camera. You feel me? But they didn't have it, so I end up getting this. You feel me? I end up getting that. But with that being said, let's just get into it. You feel me? This is the Audi. That shit look nice though. The one thing I like about Audis though is they taillights. Like, I know you've seen like the new Audis, like the 2016 and up, like they taillights would have that little animation when you hit the signal. Like, if you know, you had to see at least one of them before.
Here's the thing, car buyers right now, they're looking to be excited. They're looking for something different and new.
Us inside the
and they're
car,
looking for the next phase. Look, we're going all in.
Mustang. I thought that shit was an Audi. What the fuck? I thought that shit was an Audi.
Today I've got something a little bit unusual for a channel,
It looked
but
like an
exciting.
Audi.
Ladies
Oh
and
my
gentlemen,
God.
meet the new
Mustang.
Mach-E from Ford. It's the Mustang Mach-E. How wild is that? Never thought I'd see the Mustang brand in something like this, in an electric vehicle for one. This vehicle right here, as you can see, is a more utilitarian type of look. But
now, like, the front look good. I'm not gonna lie, the front looks good. The back, it looks boxy. It looks like they didn't take their time as much as in the front as they did in the back. Even though the front looks like a Tesla, the back has the taillights as like the Mustang would. They try to recreate the Mustang in the SUV form, but it's kind of hard to do that when you have much more room, much more space to work with. So I don't know if
being with it,
the back.
that Mustang back.
But the logo is nice.
And some of that DNA. These taillights, reminiscent of some of those Mustang designs.
See?
Current and past. Same thing. You see the 3 stripes over here on the headlights. One thing that I recognize, the more that I looked at this car, is how much identity lives in the grille. Of course, you don't need to have any of this on an electric vehicle, and there are other
like
manufacturers.
Tesla, but it looks like an Audi.
Kind of simple.
Like, that's how I got confused. It looked like an Audi. Like, if you see the grill, like if they put like the little chips on it, it's gonna look like an Audi, bro.
Simplified things on the front. However, one of the downsides of going ultra simple is you lose some identity, possibly some character. So you have these little flaps underneath there, and these open and close depending on if cooling is necessary. They can enhance cooling and improve performance. Listen, Ford has done some things here that I really like to see on any vehicle that happens to be a little bit taller or a little bit bigger. So you have this panoramic glass along the top, and you can see the space that it occupies there, but then you have this black panel which curves down like this, and it gives you a coupe look on what is obviously a 4-door vehicle, which is sort of like an SUV. So they also did the same on the bottom underneath the doors as well. And again, it just squishes the whole thing down and gives it more of a sports car feel. You're gonna get the headroom, but the visual of a much lower vehicle, a much more aggressive vehicle. Now, the other thing I gotta mention, I mean, this is the big news with the Mach-E, the fact that you don't have door handles.
So how you open
now,
the door?
it's not just to be futuristic, although it is obviously very futuristic.
Right there. You see that little thingy thing, ding, 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 right there? That little thingy thing, that's what you pull on. You probably go like, boop, boop, boop. You feel me?
When it comes to electric vehicles and range, you start to evaluate this drag coefficient, and you try to be as efficient as possible. I started thinking about door handles. They're actually not as convenient as you think. I mean, you're so used to seeing them there. However, what you'll often do is open the door handle and then go the rest of the way with the door anyways. Am I complaining about door handles? I mean, door handles are fantastic. They open doors. I get it. See, on the rear door, there's no handle at all. They could have done this on the front too. But it's not a huge deal because it's hidden behind the side mirror, which you're going to have anyways. And so any aero drawback having had this will be negated by the fact that the side mirror is already impacting whatever aerodynamic extra you may have in that region. You're going to charge up right over here. You can also catch a glance at the wheels. I believe these are 19-inch wheels. Now, keep in mind there's going to
the wheels is
be a few different trims of this particular vehicle. You have like the first edition. I think this is premium version. There's a 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive on the budget end of the spectrum. And then at the very top tier, the fastest unit is going to be the GT. It's going to have the GT badge on the back. These are going to be fast. Lots of horsepower, 0 to 60 times that in this particular segment are going to be impressive. So you can use the app to control various elements of the
But I don't think it's going to be no Tesla, though. It's not beating no Tesla.
Vehicle. Of course, we can see the charge level, the estimated distance until empty. But then if you pop over to your controls, you can do things like lower the windows, put the windows up, open the trunk, lock and chirp, unlock right from here, or even start the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock this way.
So you need a phone.
Everything comes to life. You also have a backup on the door. You can...
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, what happens if your phone dies? You're fucked.
Put in a PIN code. You hit the button right here.
I think Ford is the only people that still do that shit. I think Ford is the only people that still have that shit. Like, you have to put in a code.
And then the door moves to this position. This is kind of a crazy functionality. I know some people might be nervous thinking, wait a sec, now I'm supposed to grab in there. What if I close on my fingers? They actually built in a safety mechanism so you can't close it on your fingers. Now, I don't recommend you do this specifically, but you can see I can apply pressure and it's not going to close. Back door, same situation. Again, safety mechanism built in, and there's a little rubber section to actually grab onto that's comfortable for your hand. Now, because they decided to go a little bit bigger on this vehicle, it means you get a lot of cargo space. I mean, in reality, this is just a really popular segment of the market, the kind of small to mid-size SUV 4-wheel drive. Yeah, you want to have a high-performance vehicle, but they can sometimes be useless when the snow hits the ground. This one, on the other hand, you you drive it year-round, it's no problem. It's going to perform in all types of conditions, a little bit higher up, a little bit bigger tire, and of course that 4-wheel drive. So this one opens up, motorized. This is a tremendous amount of cargo. What happens if I lift up over here? An emergency air compressor. I don't know if that's an additional add-on. 12 volt back here as well. You want to run a cooler or something like that. You know it's got to have something going on in the front as well. Pop the hood. Got to have a frunk on the electric vehicle. And this one is kind of unique because it has this built-in organizer. You could keep some charge cables in here. You could actually use it kind of like a cooler. I think there's actually a drain plug. There's actually a drain in it if you did want to put some ice in it and have yourself a time. This is removable. So these are just these tiny little plastic pins. You could pull the organizer out and just have a big space there. I probably would just leave it in. So obviously these screens dominate your experience. And the most standout thing here for me is the ability to have multiple interfaces on one display. They're letting you put your CarPlay on the main screen alongside your Ford specific interface. So this way I get the best of both. Sometimes I don't want to go all the way into an exclusive smartphone experience. There's certain aspects of my car system that I want to remain having access to, and this kind of gives you that. By the way, it's also wireless. I think that's the most futuristic experience. You just have your phone there as soon as you...
I'm not really interested in the car, but realistically, I like the design of the car. I always like the digital dash, bro. The digital dash is pretty, and this is wavy. I always like that shit. And then it got like the little turn shit which probably you're not going to use probably for music and
step
stuff.
in, you don't even need to think about it. And it's even better because right down here you have wireless charging on this rubber mat. And that's another standout thing, is some of the cargo space in here is exciting to me. Cup holders, and then phone section, not just one, but you could have 2 phones over there. This is the future, right? Wireless charging in this section over here. There's also a USB Type-C and a USB Type-A port if you want to do the wired connection, maybe a slightly faster charge. Underneath there's more cargo actually, so it's like a double tray system. 5 modes are selected here in the center: park, reverse, neutral, etc. It's this wheel right here. Now as we look up along the dash, you see lots of texture. This has, I believe, an optional audio system from Bang & Olufsen, and this thing is like a giant speaker. You have your ventilation hidden just below there, a carbon fiber type material, and a leather, so lots of different materials in play. The screen has a very standout feature, which I remember people talking about as soon as this vehicle was announced: an actual mechanical volume knob on top of a touchscreen, which actually works underneath the knob. This is the kind of thing I appreciate. I like to have a physical dial for certain things, to be able to reach up quickly, or even without even looking, and know that you're gonna be controlling the volume. It's a hard thing to figure out. Once we go to these completely digital interfaces, it's like, how do we still do that without putting something separate somewhere else? And this is kind of a novel approach to that problem. There's also a screen squarely in front of you. So this monitor in the front obviously prioritizes your speed, which is going to show up in the center section. Over here on the right, we can see the drive mode that we're currently in. We have range and battery life over on the left. And then of course also your other pertinent information, whether it's nav, your headlights, or whether or not you have a door that's been left open. Apparently, the Mustang inspiration comes into play over here as well. They didn't want it to feel like a big vehicle. They wanted it to be reminiscent of what it would be like to drive the coupe. So the seating position is...
So you made a big car to be small inside. That makes
steering wheel, the feel, it really does mimic something smaller and more nimble. So over on the left-hand side, we have controls for lane keep assist, distance assist as far as the vehicle in front of you. Of course, there's also cruise control on there. And then over on the right-hand side, we have some voice activation and some controls for your calls, volume, and forward and back for skipping tracks. Look at this. YouTube music, big buttons to interact with, and then of course your volume wheel.
See, I knew that was a volume.
Oh, I should talk about this real quick. You have various drive mode settings depending on how you feel like driving. So you have engage, whisper, and unbridled. This is basically like your comfort mode, your normal mode, and your sport mode. Obviously, unbridled means you're going to get the most performance, the most feedback, the fastest acceleration. There's also settings here for a propulsion sound, audio ambient light selection, and a one-pedal drive. This brings the vehicle to a stop and recovers energy when you release the accelerator. And there's something really satisfying about this wheel. It is a very satisfying wheel. I love having the phone connect wirelessly. I don't know, it seemed like such a breakthrough for me and a thing that's been missing. I hate fiddling with cables, especially when you have wireless chargers built into cars. This just feels so much more seamless and useful, and I would just do it every time instead of half the time. I'll be on like a short trip and I'd be like, oh, I'll just let the Bluetooth connect and play my podcast that way. But then it's just not as clean to interact with. So whether it's Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, they're both built in there. Plenty of room. Look at that right there. That is no problem. I could sit here for an extended period of time and not be bothered. And actually, you know what adds to it a lot is the giant panoramic roof over here. I've had this experience on other vehicles, and it just makes a big difference if you've never seen it before as far as the feeling of space. And of course, the ever important USB Type-C and Type-A for charging your devices in the rear seat. Okay, so pop that one, and I mean, it should be pretty obvious at that point. Like, you can get a lot of stuff back here. You could obviously load up the camp gear, no problem. You could load up the sports equipment. It's gonna get in there. You also have a big old...
Overall, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm just getting mad bored with this shit. But if you made it to the end of the video, you obviously like the video. But realistically, though, I'm just looking at this controller, bro. This shit is just nice. I'm just happy that I got at least one of the next generation products. Because I went to the GameStop and niggas was talking about they're gonna release another set of consoles January, but like, you feel me? Like, you most likely, like, 9 times out of 10 most likely not gonna get it. If you're just a regular person, you gotta buy it off of somebody, because the bots, they're not stopping the bots. They're not saying one buy per person. They're not doing none of that. They could have been did it, but they're not going to do it. You feel me? They know, like, let me tell you, the economy know what they doing, bro. When they want you to flip, when they want people to flip, they want people to spend their money. That's why they're not doing this. That's why they're gonna continue to keep on doing this for until at least spring. Because by the time spring happens, bro, this pandemic shit hopefully is gone. You feel me? Hopefully it's gone. But if you made it to the end of the video, you obviously like the video, so you obviously gotta subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. We on the road to 500 subscribers. We have